Hey, hello there. Welcome to Talking with Tony. And it's my understanding there are no technical difficulties tonight. We welcome back Danny Arp, our lead expert on the football panel tonight. Danny, it's always good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here, coming to you from LaGrange. Um,
How
always
are things in
exciting, always
LaGrange?
exciting to get on here and be talking with Tony. Man, I enjoy it.
Well, what's going on in LaGrange? How are things in LaGrange?
Well, it's about just like it was when you left. Not a lot. They're building everywhere you look. There's an apartment complex being built. I have no idea what they're doing that for. Um, Same old stuff. Traffic on Vernon right in front of my house, but
What are we going to try
nothing.
to do? Bring in like 20,000 more residents from these apartments? Is this what we're trying to
I,
do?
I guess, man, it's unbelievable. I guess they've trying to figure out how to put somebody in it, but it's crazy, man. I mean, it really is crazy.
I guess it could be good for churches. I guess it could increase members in churches, and that'd be good for the offering plate and the
I guess
and then the church congregation.
that
But
and city utilities, right? I guess them flushing toilets that do it. So,
yeah, that's why I think we don't really want to fix name, image, and likeness because it's a cash cow for the government. So why would they want to do anything really about it? They say that it's out of control, which it is, but
yeah.
they're not going to do anything. I don't think they're going to do anything about it. I mean, what happened, Danny? It used to be for your name, image, and likeness. To sign an autograph, to sell a jersey, to have your picture made, to have somebody come up and show up at your kid's birthday party or whatever. Now it's just pay for play, man. I
Just
need
get
one man
paid,
to
man.
come.
Yeah. You show up, make one sandwich at a Bucky's,
That's exactly
and then
right.
the next thing you know, they're handing over, $200,000 to you.
Well, I know you, so I know you got a Stones shirt on. It's always good to see
My
you
Rolling
representing and stuff.
Stones. Oh, you can't see me with
Uh-huh.
this background, but yeah,
Yeah,
the
but
Rolling
we
Stones.
saw you got an image of it and all. What's I was thinking about them today. I was coming back from the doctor's office. Great report, by the way. Always thankful for that. John Norton's watching. The blood pressure was 82. Let me think about this now. 118 over 82 because he's
Oh
always
yeah.
wanting to know like numbers and stuff like that. Just real happy for. Cholesterol was great. The bad cholesterol was good. Whatever all that is. So heart good. Feel very blessed. I actually had two doctor's appointment today, but I'm coming back home just about half an hour ago, and the Verve is playing Bittersweet Symphony.
Oh yeah.
Now, I think they didn't, and when it was all said and done with that, the Verve didn't earn a penny from that song, did they?
I don't know. It was a good song at the time, but I turn it every time it's on now. I don't know what it is about it. Just a dun, 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 just constant. Like if I'm going to listen to a symphony, I'm going to put on some Beethoven. I'm not going to listen to that. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I'm locked in on the Stones. That's all I listen to. That or Fleetwood Mac. So,
And that's so interesting because when I was in high school and college, all I listened to was Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles, even though they were
yeah.
from the '70s and we were in college in the '90s. But that's kind of I did 5, 7 years of just listening to those two bands, just constantly, including their solo work.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I've been trying to buy a few albums from this little old antique store across from. It's actually across from Lane and John's store. Um,
Run downtown.
put a plug in for Run Downtown, but it's across from there. And I've been buying albums. I've been having him look for like some of the old Stones albums. While I go in to buy one, he finally found a version of Let It Bleed, which it is one from 1969, by the way. He sells them to him for like $25. I don't know, but I don't know if it's that worth anything, but I love it. Anyway, he had a Hotel California album, an original.
Original.
So I went ahead and got that one too, just for the
Good.
nostalgia of it. But
Man, you
what's your
can
favorite
play.
song off of that album? Hotel California.
Uh, it's hard not to go with the signature song there, the
Yep.
Hotel California. But I was always an enormous fan of New Kid in Town.
Yeah.
So I would say either one of those or The Last Resort.
Oh, so you're a last resort kind of guy. I like last resort okay, but I was always new kid in town. But
Hmm.
I am now finding myself, I'm the Randy Meisner Try to Love Again. Is it Try to Love Again, right?
Try and Love Again. That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's a great song, man.
Walsh contributed Pretty Maids all in a row to
Yep.
that. Uh, it actually, you just play it from start to finish. My wife's favorite song was Wasted Time on there.
That's a good
And,
one.
I saw the Eagles. 25 times, but I saw Henley by himself. I can't tell you how many times, more than that. And he would play that every once in a while, and he'd say, "Oh, I got plenty of that." Right before he says, But when I spoke to Glenn Fry in the '90s, he told me that was the song that he felt like Henley was best on. Said he just totally owned it out of the entire catalog of the Eagles. If he wants to hear Henley's masterpiece that he believes he is, he plays "Wasted Time."
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's a good song, man. That's a good album. I really haven't listened to it in a while. And when I bought it, I put it on this little goofy phonograph player I have. And it was good. I just sort of flashed back in time. So
I do need to mention, since we're talking about the Eagles and your love of New Kid in Town, J.D. Sowler passed away as we filmed this yesterday, one of the great songwriters in American history, and worked with Linda Ronstadt first, but then, of course, had long collaboration with the Eagles, going all the way to the Eden album. The song "How Long," I believe, was the song that he contributed there. But New Kid in Town, "Heartache Tonight" was him. "Best of My Love," and he had some hits himself, including that song. This used to be "Your Town" too, and "Only the Lonely." "Only the Lonely" was probably his biggest hit. I think he was in his late 70s, 78, 79 years old, but extremely talented man. And I don't know if we remember the Eagles in the satisfying manner that we remember them today without his contributions.
Very good. Yeah, good analysis. I agree. I mean, all a bunch of talented people, like you mentioned, Walsh. Meisner left. He was obviously fantastic. And, arguably some people said he had the best voice of all of them. But it's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue that with singers like Henley and Fry. But
you listen to "Take It to the Limit." It's hard to beat that.
Yep.
It's if you would have told me 15 years ago that Glenn Fry and Randy Meisner would be the first two Eagles to pass away, I would have said you're absolutely crazy with some of the damage that like Joe Walsh had done to himself, and even a couple of the other, even Henley to an extent. But it's crazy that we've lost Fry and we've lost Meisner. I could talk music with you all night long.
Yeah,
I love that music. I want to thank you. I know that you've read 6 Weeks This Summer and get your impressions on 6 Weeks This Summer. Would you be up to hosting a show just on 6 Weeks This Summer as I get closer to Fall and Recover coming out, which will be about December 1st, the sequel to 6 Weeks This Summer?
Well, and I will say, when you first released it, I was probably one of the, if not, maybe one of the first ones to get a copy. It's certainly a signed copy by the author. And being an English language and literature major, I'm a bit embarrassed that it took me this long to pick it up. But I told you, work has been killing me. So one of the reasons I don't sleep a lot sometimes because of work. And I stayed up and I was like, man, I got to read this book. So I went ahead and read it, and it was fantastic. I told you I was about 20 pages in. You're like, hey, man, you put it down. But it wasn't because I didn't like it. I just had to go to sleep. Well, I started back up, finished the whole book, and slept about 2 hours and went to work. But it's a great book, man. I love the opening. I did just want to mention this, and we'll do one, but I've been using your quote to open chapter 1, Bruce Brown, to try to motivate people at work, and try to get them motivated. It's just a good one. I'm going to read it, and then we can move on, I guess. But all it takes is one person who is committed, focused, and on a mission to spark an entire team and believing in themselves. There's
a lot of truth to that.
Powerful. But that got it started, and I did want to tell you in person, it's fantastic. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the sequel.
I appreciate that. Did the ending, without giving away, because there are people somehow still have not read it, but did the ending, there's a bit of a cliffhanger there with what Miles does in the locker room. Did that catch you by surprise?
Yeah, it caught me by surprise. Yeah, there's no doubt. It was a good one. It was a great cliffhanger. I don't know if I like it, I'm not going to give it away, but if it goes the way the ending hinted that it may go, I don't think I'll like that,
I don't mind telling you that almost everyone seems to be in lock and key there with you. I hear from people across the country about that, and I would say about 90% want what's best. I'll just say what's best for Stephanie. But Stephanie is a real loved character in 6 Weeks This Summer. And I, in a recent interview with the magazine, I told them I view her as like the all-American girl. She really has put Miles first in their relationship. And when she told him a couple of things, when she told him, doesn't matter where you play next year, I'll go, I'll be with you. She's putting her life basically on hold for him. But the line that seems to resonate with most, especially if people who have lost a love and broke up or something, not necessarily to death, but when she says, I don't care that I wasn't your first love, I just want to be your last love. That's a line that I hear a good bit of feedback from and all. But she's she's a great person, and I hope it works out, for both of them. What's strange for you is you actually know the Annie character's person that I based that on. That was the only female character in the book. I based it on Annie Polly, who's from LaGrange, Georgia, who's Annie Musselwhite now, because she's married and she will be appearing in the sequel as well. So I appreciate your feedback, though. I see where where you're coming from there, and I have to acknowledge that there is a real love for Stephanie, a real fondness. I think just so people feel very, very close to her. And I think they see a lot of what they would like to see in themselves in her. Yeah.
Well-developed character. It was a good story. You always wanted to know what she was up to when she made her way in and out of the book. It was great into the storyline, and obviously a big part of Miles's life. So it was good. I enjoyed that. I will say this. I took a class in college, creative writing or something.
Yeah.
And I had written something, and it was during an essay part, which was weird. I thought we creative writing, but I guess that's sort of creative. And I wrote something, and I put something that was very shocking, and the teacher marked, it was fantastic. I stayed up all night writing it. And he put in there, marked me down to a B+ because it was a shocking transition, And I never did get that because you had a couple of those in the book, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought they worked well. And I'm like, I don't know. That guy was a genius. He was a doctor of whatever literature, but I thought he had got it wrong on my paper. That's all I want to say.
I like shocking transitions. I like bringing in a major character like I did in 6 Weeks of Summer. And I'm speaking of Annie with probably 7 or 8 chapters left. I mean, like it did, a person doesn't even, we don't even know who she is until 80% of the book is even done. And she's going to play a factor in both of the sequels. So I don't know what he was talking about with shocking transition. I will say this, whenever you say like English literature, I think back to high school, the teachers that I had were tremendous influences on me. Stevens, she was Miss Wright back then. She was advisor for the newspaper and stuff. Miss Sargent, she's Miss Sargent, I believe now. Kane, definitely, especially when I think about things that we, Byram and Keats and those guys that we read, Shelley, just Macbeth, like the works that we read and all, and about Beowulf and just, all that, it's been a tremendous influence on me.
I enjoyed all those teachers as well. I didn't have Kane, but I had Lane Dutterer. Obviously, she was fantastic freshman year. And then Miss Stevens the second year, which I'll tell a quick story there. Thomas.
Did you have to read Animal Farm?
We did. We read Animal Farm. We also read The Black Knight and what was it called? The Black Knight versus the Green Knight, and Thomas Guerrero was in there, right? He's a fantastic, photographer now. He's an artistic, great artist, great photographer out in Houston. And I just keep up with him on Facebook. Don't see him ever, but he was in the class and we had to do a project. And Nathan Snellings and I had done this fantastic paper mache of the Green Knight murdering the Black Knight, and we chopped the head off and then we hold it up. We thought for sure we were going to win, right? So Thomas comes in, he puts his up, and it's this lady and ballerina he had drawn and this poetry down the side and just blew the class away. We were all amazing talent on this guy, right? It was Lady in Red, dude, the song. He copied it.
That Chris DeBurge.
Yeah. And nobody even knew it. So if he watches this, I just want him to know, man, he jipped me out of that.
I don't think he will be watching it, but if he is,
he knows what he did. He knows what he did.
I tell you what, I haven't been sharing them up on Facebook, but you're Facebook friends with him, so
I'll send it to him when you put it on. Yeah.
We'll tag you. I love Miss Yarborough,
but I love Thomas Guerrero, so don't get me wrong. I do love him.
I was friends with him in high school. Also, I remember doing we had a swimming party at his house one time. I remember going to a couple of movies with him. He picked them; they were terrible. But he was okay. I don't think he and I see the world politically the same way
No, it's
now.
probably a little different now. Yeah.
I think it's safe to say he's a left wing lunatic, but
I wouldn't
that's
go
okay.
that far. I think he
You
just
don't think
does
it's
his
that far?
thing. You know how I feel about that. We sort of talked about this last time.
Yeah, because you're
I'm
more
not
in the
over to
middle
the
of the
right as
road.
far as
I
you.
pray
Man,
for you all the time, but you're in the middle of the road here.
I am. I'm middle to, I'm a solid, was duped, 2-time vote Bill Clinton kind of guy, But I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't get
Bring
me
me
to go for the
Sam
Clintons
Nunn.
now, for anything. But I don't want to get into politics. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm that kind of guy.
If somebody wants me to vote like Democrat, bring me a Sam Nunn, man. I can get behind somebody
Yeah, my
like
dad's Sam Nunn. Yeah, gave my dad, my brother an appointment.
Good man. And by the way, like we joke about politics, and Tommy can be whoever he wants to be, and I still, respect him. I don't say I don't like such and such because of their politics. It's just not something that, and I don't care what actors endorse people and all that or Taylor Swift or
No.
whoever. That doesn't bother me. I don't treat somebody because I can separate all that. I think there's a problem in the country. Most people can't. And I will say this too about those teachers. Many of those teachers don't think how I think, the world is political.
Yeah.
They never indoctrinated us when we were in school. I didn't know their politics. I didn't know their politics until I was like Facebook friends with them. And I was like, that's interesting. But they are free to have whatever opinion they want to have. That's the great thing about America. I just love for the fact that they didn't indoctrinate us. And I'm not sure that we can say the same now for schools now, particularly colleges.
Well, okay, all right. I'll give you the college thing. But again, I've always been a huge, and I know we're sort of getting off topic here, but I've always I've been a huge public school supporter.
Sure.
And I know some people aren't, but I mean, I have been, always have been married to a public school teacher. She did teach a private school for a little while. Did not enjoy that. But big time public. I had a great time in public school, but I think the problem is this nowadays is just such a quick fix mentality we have in the country, so if it's not hitting you hard with some catch line or it's not going to get it. But we can all always argue politics. I mean, like you said, you're further right than I am. We've been tight since we're
Since I moved.
16 years old, 15 years old. So
yeah,
we can get along. We can talk about it and then move on.
One of the best friends I've ever had, and I'll say this: Danny Art will be teammates with Miles Fuller wherever he signs in the sequel, Fall and Recovers. They'll be
so the Brewers going to let me go? And who else is the catcher for the Brewers?
The Blue Jays.
Oh, the Blue Jays. I guess Stormy was batting for the Brewers. It was something to do with the Brewers.
Well, you were going to be with him, and of course, the Fall and Recover will take place from November till March, so not much baseball in there. But for the third one, when it does crank up back with the baseball, certainly. Okay. So my publisher is like killing me. Not only does he want these two sequels, but I pitched them an idea, and so it was three of them that I talked to about a book called Saturday in Athens, about a Saturday afternoon where UGA is playing somebody. It's the last week before they play Georgia Tech. They've already locked up the SEC regular season, and just the preparations that go into that big day, that big game in the school. I don't want to say who the other school is. It's no one in the SEC though, who they're playing, and they want that. And I said, well, look, if you're gonna get that, you're gonna get that before the third part of the current series, because as far as that series, I need some time. I need just to get away from it for a little while. So. That's me, and that's where I've been professionally. Thanks once again for doing the show. Let's do some picks and let's do better. Right. I'm under 500, and now after last week, you're under 500, and that just doesn't look right for both of us to be under 500.
No, I don't know what is going on though. That was the craziest couple of weeks, and I know if you are the Vegas folks are having a blast. Let's just put it that way, because that was just unheard of. I think I'm down to like 46% now, and that's giving myself a push.
Well, on 5 stars, though, you're 1 and 2, where some people are, you're doing as good or better than many others.
Well, I'm going to chalk it up to a slow start. We did get off a little slow last year. We weren't this bad, but we did get off to a little slow.
But I progressed to like 23 games over 500 and finished like 20 over 500. I'm 2 under 500 right now. That's just not me. I feel like I need a shower or something. It's just not good. Well, let's give everybody the numbers. I'm 5-7, 1-2 in the 5 stars. I am the host, so I don't pick the same amount of games that everyone else does. Their records are all pretty close to each other. Stormy, Kevin, and John are all 16-16, and Kevin and John are 1-2 with the 5 stars, and Stormy is 0-3. And Danny is 14-18 and 1-2 with the 5 stars, but only because of a brutal week last week. You were doing just fine. You were 2 or 3 games ahead, over 500 going into last week, and you just happened to have a bad week last week.
Was that 2-9, right?
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but yeah.
Oh, I'll say it. That was just. Again, it was shocking. I got my little form where I type yes or no. If I get the win, I could not believe it. I was like, this just can't happen. It just keeps happening. And I'm going to say this too. It all started, and I've told you a million times, it all started when you sent me the text and said 6-0, big guy, or something like that.
When you started the first week, 6-0.
Man, you jinxed me, man. Ever since then, I've been on it. So don't text me, man, while we're in the middle of the games.
All right.
I believe in jinxes, dude.
Well, I know how much you love the Yellow Jackets. Let's begin with them at Louisville. Louisville favored by 10. How do you see it?
Well, Louisville's my second team because my golfing buddy is a big Louisville guy, and I've been watching them for like 9 years now. And they've been okay. Georgia Tech's been fantastic, I would say, by their standards. And playing in Louisville,
yeah,
it's going to be a wild, fired up crowd. I am worried about the running quarterback. What's his name? The little kid from Georgia Tech.
The A&M transfer.
Yeah. He's if you saw what Jacksonville State's quarterback did to Louisville, which Louisville got the win, but the quarterback ran all over him. So that would be the wild card. But I still don't think it's enough, and I'm going to go with the Cards on this one, and I'll lay the 10.
All right. God's team, Auburn, favored anywhere between 3 and 4. I've got it down as 4 officially. Probably in other markets you can get 3, 3.5. At home against Arkansas. This was supposed to be the victory for them, for Auburn, but Arkansas has played better than most anticipated. The game against Oklahoma State, they actually outplayed Oklahoma State in Stillwater. Should have beat them outright, lost in double overtime. Auburn is favored by 4. Do they get there against Arkansas?
Yeah, I'm still a little hurt about the taking them for the 14 to cover, and they didn't. But I think you look good. I think the team looked much better last week. I think the quarterback played great, and you got them at home, right? So I like it. I like that. Second straight week, you got Arkansas playing an Alabama team. They pulled off the win against UAB last week, but not this week. Auburn will cover the 4 that we have it at.
Okay. Southern Cal, I still call them Southern Cal. They'll say that they are the real USC. They go to Michigan. They go to the defending national champs. They're favored by 6. This is my first pick of the week. I'm going with Michigan plus 6. I think Michigan's strong still defensively. Will Johnson, Graham's good defender. I think Michigan probably is a little bit better than they've played. I think Texas has got a really good football team, and that loss by Michigan is not really as bad as I think people believe that it is. So I'm going Michigan plus 6. How do you see this one?
Well, I like the way this is going this week. Okay. One, I do have a question about you. How do you feel about Michigan? Are they going to need to throw the ball against USC or not? Are they going to be imperative, or are they going to ride this? They're averaging about almost 7 yards a carry, right?
You're going to hear a lot of Donovan Edwards' name on Saturday. They're going to run the ball and run the ball.
I think they should. I think they run the ball.
Now remember,
keep it close enough, and they get it with this. They'll stay within 6. And I'm going with
tight ends. They can utilize him in the passing game as well.
He's looked bad though, and I know Texas is good, but they have not looked good in the passing game.
But you and I agree, Michigan plus 6 though.
Yep.
Okay, I have no pick here, but I see that this is your 5-star. Tennessee goes to Oklahoma. Biggest dog that Oklahoma has been in 26 years. Tennessee by 7.5.
Oh man, let me tell you something. If you're not a Tennessee Volunteer fan, okay, treat this like a hurricane's coming and you live in Florida, and get out of the state. Because when they win this game Saturday night, that town's, they're burning the place down. Tennessee is looking great. Tennessee has got a defense that they've been needing. They look nasty. They look mean. And the offense is unbeatable. Well, I mean, 73 points in the first half. Nico's on fire. I don't like the Vols at all. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
They could be creeping back to the old decade of dominance or whatever you want to call it because they look good. And I think they cover easily. I think that you got the Sooner hero. The most favorite player of any Oklahoma Sooner is who? Heifetz, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Of all time. He brought them to the national championship. And now home, he gets to play the team. It's just going to be crazy atmosphere. Tennessee's going to win it. And they're going to win it by a couple of touchdowns, probably.
As a Georgia guy, are you most concerned about Texas, Tennessee, or Ole Miss right now? And that's subject to change down the road. But right now, when you look at Ole Miss, Texas, and Tennessee, which one of those three concerns you the most?
Tennessee.
Okay.
I mean, Texas looks good. I know we got to go out there. I think Kirby can get that one. I think Ole Miss, we have not had. I mean, even with Lane Kiffin, we've got no problem with him. But Tennessee is he looks good. They look good. We got to get past Bama in a couple of weeks. We've got a bye week to get ready for that. And
but you'll have them in Athens. You'll have Tennessee in Athens, right?
No, we got everybody away, man.
Good.
Oh, Tennessee's in Athens. Yeah, Tennessee's in. But I'm talking about the three big ones are away.
Well, and you got to count Tennessee as a big one too, I believe. I mean, I think when you're ranked,
but until they, and again, I don't want it to be this year, but until they win it, I don't see it happen. I'm not going to count them as a big one. They're still chumps, but I can recognize they look good.
Okay. Rounding out the college, Kansas State's favored by 7 over BYU. I will say this is my second selection. I'm going with BYU +7. I think they play very sound defensively, and they're hard to beat at home. Kansas State, I believe, may win, but if they win, I think it'll be real tight, maybe a field goal, 3 or 4 points. So I like Brigham Young +7.
I like that. I like the way this is going this week. I feel like we're getting back on track. We got the nightcap game. I don't think BYU can beat them. I think Avery Johnson can have a big game, dual threat. He's starting to throw the ball better. He's always been able to run it good, but I don't think going out there, playing at BYU, that they can beat them badly. So I'm taking BYU +7.
Let's quickly get through the NFL. The Steelers are 2.5-point favorites over the Chargers. I jump back into action here. I like the Chargers +2.5. What I'm seeing from the Steelers doesn't pass the so-called eye test so far. They're 2-0, but I like the Chargers in this spot.
Been a while since Chargers. I don't even know if they've ever been 2-0, but it's a trendy pick right now, and I think it's a good pick. I'm going Chargers 2.5 as well.
Okay. The Dolphins are at the Seahawks, and the Seahawks favored by 5.5. What do you think?
I'm going Seahawks -5.5 with Miami having to travel cross country and no Tua, so I'm going 5.5 Seahawks.
Ravens are favored by 1 over my Dallas Cowboys, who just got obliterated by the Saints at home last week. I passed on this game, but I see that you like the Ravens -1.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. After that nonsense last week, I don't even know what to say with the Cowboys. So I'm just going to go with it this week. I would think the Cowboys should win. I would think they should win.
Who's the Ravens quarterback? LaMarvelous. Where did he play? Louisville. That'll make your friend happy too. So
he's the man.
Yeah.
He is the man.
You and I both have a pick here on the night game, the Chiefs and the Falcons. The Chiefs favored by 4.5. Taylor Swift probably coming. We're on opposite sides here. I've been on the Falcons each week. I'm staying with them. I think they got a good football team. I really do. I do. I think that they're going to make a run in the playoffs. They're getting 4.5 points, and I like the Falcons.
Look, the Falcons look good. I want to be on it. I've told you I've been working in Atlanta, right? Doing a lot of hours up there with my company. And on Fridays is Jersey Day. So last Friday, I'm thinking everybody's got on every jersey but the Falcons, man. Florida State, whipping out hockey jerseys. I mean, whatever. They win the game. I go back in there Monday. The whole place was dressed in Falcons outfits. You can't drive through Atlanta without a Falcons emblem showing up. So the whole town is on fire. I think the Falcons let them down just like they always do. I'm going Chiefs -4.5.
I got a couple of soccer games. I'm 2-0 on the young season of soccer after going 14-1 last year. I like West Ham getting a half a goal against Chelsea and see if they can get a tie out of that or even win. And I'll take Brighton. I'll take BHA against one of my favorite teams, Nottingham Forest, who struggles to score goals. I want to quickly go down everyone else's picks. John, 16-16. He's got Georgia Tech +10, Auburn -4. His 5-star, Southern Cal -6. He likes the Vols -7.5. Kansas State -7. In the NFL, he goes with Pittsburgh -2.5. The Seahawks -5.5. The Ravens -1, and the Chiefs -4.5. Stormy is 16-16. He's got Georgia Tech +10, Auburn -4, Michigan +6, Oklahoma the dog +7.5, Kansas State -7. In the NFL, he goes with the Chargers. He joins us with the +2.5. He's got the Seahawks -5.5. His 5-star is the Ravens -1, and he likes the Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor Swift -4.5. Kevin, 16-16, 1-2 in the 5 stars. Louisville -10, Arkansas +4, USC -6, Oklahoma +7.5. A lot different here with Danny. And he goes with Kansas State -7. You guys had only one college game alike, and that was Louisville. And then he's got the Steelers -2.5. The Seahawks -5.5, the Ravens -1, the Falcons +4.5. I'm getting the 1 minute cue from Jake. I'll quickly run back down Danny's. He's 14-18, Louisville -10, Auburn -4, Michigan +6, the Vols -7.5. Tennessee's his 5-star. BYU +7. He likes the Chargers +2.5, Seahawks -5.5, Ravens -1, Chiefs -4.5. Final thoughts, Danny?
I would say the world is back right. You and I had some picks close together, and I'm really opposite of Big Red, Kevin White, so it looks good for us this week.
I love you, buddy. Thanks so much for doing the show.
See you, big time. See you, Jake.
That's it for Talking with Tony. For Danny Art, Jake Barton, I'm Tony Jones. We'll see you next time right here on Talking with Tony.